Hello and welcome to the Avanti Women and Panasonic speaker series for the month of December. We're talking about giving forward. With us this evening is Shelley White, CEO for United Way of Peel Region. Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you very much, Dina. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great, and so excited to hear your story and learn so much about how you have accomplished in your career, both personally and professionally, and how you landed this fantastic role of Peel Region, United Way. Tell us how it all happened.
Well, I think it's in my DNA. I grew up with parents who really believed in volunteering and giving back to the community, and started my siblings and I at a young age. And actually also because my mother was terrified of the water and was insistent that we all learn how to swim, and I loved swimming, which led to me becoming a lifeguard and swim instructor. And so I worked for the YMCA as my first job, going through high school and throughout university, which led to a tremendous mentor at the Y saying, have you ever thought about a career with the YMCA?
I love it. Mm-hmm. So this is how it started for Shelley White.
Yes.
Fantastic. So walk us through the story of how that evolved and how you landed to where you are today. It is a prestigious, a real honorable position. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And I'd love to hear more about the story and how we can inspire others to aspire to have such a credible role.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting journey. I have made a conscious choice to work in the not-for-profit sector my entire career. So since I graduated from university, had the privilege to work for the YMCA across Canada for 18 years in progressive management and executive positions. And started off my undergraduate degrees in physical health education. But, as I was going through my career, I actually considered leaving. And one of my mentors said, why are you going to leave? We love you here, and you're just so well suited to this. I said, well, I need more work-life balance. I had a young family at the time, but you don't have to leave. There's other opportunities. And so they actually moved me they said, your skills are completely transferable to another management position. We'll just move you into another role that will provide you with that kind of work-life balance that you need at this point in your life. And we're going to use you as a guinea pig to demonstrate to others that it is possible to transfer, because the YMCA is a huge organization that runs a number of different types of programs and services. So that was a valuable learning for me about the importance of mentors, but also the importance of taking risks and doing something different, and the transferability of skills into different kinds of roles. After I'd been with my goal with the Y was to become a CEO of an urban Y, and I achieved that by the time I was 35.
Great.
And so then I was looking for a new opportunity and became the executive director of the Kidney Foundation of Canada. And it was during my Caris years, and one of my proudest moments was the opportunity to work with a spectacular team of volunteers on our board of directors to actually advocate with the provincial government to establish the Ontario Trillium Gift of Life Network, which promotes organ donation, because organ donation was so low in our province at the time, and having a really difficult impact on people's lives.
Of course.
And so 13 years ago, I started with the United Way of Peel Region. And it's been a magnificent journey, and we have changed a lot in that 13 years. We've gone from being a traditional fundraising United Way to one in which we're all about community impact and creating social change to address the most complex social issues in our community: poverty, abuse, hunger, homelessness, mental illness, and supporting and reducing unemployment, as well as dropout rates in our community. For example, when I started 13 years ago, the graduation rate in our community was just over 70%. Now it's up to 87%.
Amazing.
Yes. And the other, many children, when they started kindergarten, weren't ready to learn. They weren't ready to start kindergarten. And, Dr. Fraser Mustard had done significant research to show that if kids weren't ready to learn when they started kindergarten, there was a high likelihood that they weren't going to graduate from high school. So we put a significant emphasis on ensuring kids were ready to learn, and particularly kids in the most vulnerable neighborhoods in our community. And that was actually a national initiative.
Wow, that's fantastic. So congratulations on those accomplishments and also the resiliency to continue to give forward. So now that we have a good understanding of what you do, how do you balance that professionally and personally? You know, how does a successful woman at a C level, what do you do to manage yourself and time and stressful points and times as well?
Well, I call it work-life harmony.
Excellent.
As opposed to work-life balance, as you know. I mean, it's what is balance and how do you define balance? You just have to, first of all, you have to have your priorities in check. And, you know, family is extremely important. So you must make time for family and for friends in addition to the long hours that you put in. And when you're working in these types of jobs, days can be anywhere between 12 to 16 hours, and it's, 7 days a week. So, sleep is extremely important. Eating healthy is extremely important. Exercise is absolutely essential in terms of staying healthy and staying energized to do this work.
Yeah, and I support you on the energized, because you're always thinking and you need to make sure you're paying attention and listening so you're not mixing things up.
Exactly.
So looking back 20 years, if there's something you could maybe tell yourself, don't do it, or do it differently, what would that have been?
I would have told myself, first of all, you can't be great at everything. Identify what your top 3 greatest skills and strengths are, and really develop those. Secondly, complete your master's degree before you're 40. I completed mine at 53.
Great. Oh wow, good for you.
But you know what? If you complete it before you're 40, you'll get much more benefit from it. I wish I knew in my 40s what I learned from a master's degree. And how important it is to have mentors throughout your career, and different types of mentors, individuals who know different sides of your personality and your skill sets and will advise you in terms of your career, but also challenge you to think differently and to try different opportunities.
And I like your message about having different mentors, and that's where you really want to capitalize on your strengths and stretch them. So it sounds like you did that. So looking back at some of those mentors, what were some of the things that stood out to you? What attracted you? What helped you decide to choose them or select them? What was it that you used, or what did you do?
Yes. Well, first of all, in terms of the mentors that I chose, it was individuals that I trusted and that I admired. And in a lot of cases, it was, in the beginning, it was women that, I looked up to, that I thought, I'd be interested in a career like this individual, or this is the kind of impact or the relationships that I'd like to have. I really respect their values and the way they interact. But later on in my career, it was, choosing individuals, both men and women, who were different than I was.
Excellent.
And that had skills that I wanted to challenge myself to develop, but also to get their kind of disruptive opinion about what I needed to develop, rather than having individuals who are similar to me tell me what I needed to do and to develop. And the other thing is that sometimes mentors choose you. There are individuals that came forward and said and gave me advice when I didn't ask for it.
Right.
And that was it was a little bit off-putting initially, in terms of didn't expect this. But, it's important to embrace those opportunities because they're observing and they have something very important to say to you.
Right. Good. That's very important. So if I had to ask you on your night table, if there was maybe a few books or a magazine, what would be the book you're reading now, something that you turn to as a resource, or something that you would also recommend for women to read? Where does Shelley land in that arena?
Yeah, so I just finished The Illegal by Lawrence Hill. So it's a book about a immigrant marathon runner in Africa. And it is a compelling story about an individual, how they overcome significant challenges to realize their dream, and the kind of oppression that they face, but also about the kindness of individuals, complete strangers who reached out and helped because of their authenticity and their own kindness. It's a beautiful story, and it's Canadian. It's written by Lawrence Hill, the Canadian writer.
I love that.
So it's a great book, and highly recommend that. In terms of resources, a couple that I turn to on a frequent basis are Jim Collins' Good to Great.
Excellent.
Phenomenal book. The Flywheel, The Hedgehog. Those themes are so relevant still, extremely valuable. And Getting to Maybe, written by two Canadian professors about social innovation. And innovation is so important in the not-for-profit sector in terms of developing new solutions to address complex issues, whether it's here or abroad.
Absolutely. And in terms of having a superhero, is there one that you still admire today? Just one, Shelley, just one.
I always liked Underdog. I don't know if you guys remember that
cartoon. Tell us about the Underdog and what characteristics they have.
Well, he was a little beagle.
Oh, yeah?
Cartoon beagle who wore a cape.
I love it.
Underdog. So he was kind of, bumbling and geeky, but he had a huge heart and found ways to, save the world kind of thing. It was it's very sweet. But my superheroes are really individuals like Mandela and Gates, who's been so bold to go out and encourage other people who are wealthy to, implement important initiatives globally. Individuals like Madala, the young woman who, fought for, young girls to have the right to education.
Absolutely.
I mean, those are, and then the everyday superheroes, the individuals who, they're just everyday people like you and me who give their heart and soul and dedicate their lives to helping others. Just heard, a woman on the radio, on CBC Radio, who lives in Mississauga, who has been a foster parent to over 200 kids.
How amazing.
And they all call her mother. I mean, that is a superhero, in my opinion, in terms of, we're talking about giving forward, what she's done in terms of nurturing and providing these kids with confidence and opportunities for the future when others who they depended upon weren't able to do that is absolutely extraordinary.
Absolutely, yes, we should get her up here.
Yeah, she'd be phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Shelley. That's very informative. And since December is about giving forward, what we'd love to learn more about is how can Avanti Women or people in the community give forward to United Way? Is there something that you can share with us where they can reach out and participate?
Most definitely. When I think about giving forward, it's the people having the opportunity to volunteer and to do something and give back in a way that's meaningful to them. And there's so many opportunities within the United Way to volunteer, whether it's our Young Leaders Council or Women's Leadership Council, any of our ethnocultural specific committees, our board of directors and standing committees of the board. And then we have days of caring as well. So there's one day where they can come in and they can volunteer. And then we also fund 54 different agencies. So there's an opportunity for us to connect them with them as well. And then we helped to initiate the Volunteer Mississauga Brampton Caledon, which is an organization that's specifically dedicated to helping match individuals who want to volunteer with volunteer opportunities in our community. So volunteering is one way. Another way is for people to become advocates, to actually take an issue that matters to them, whether it's, all kids having access to post-secondary education, or people having access to mental health care when they need it.
Excellent.
Individuals having access to safe, affordable housing, that we, looking at eradicating homelessness. So we're working on those issues right now, and if they'd like to join us, there's nothing as strong as residents who join with us and say, these are important issues, these are issues that matter to me and my community, and help us advocate with the federal, provincial, and regional municipal governments on those issues. And then if people don't have time, or they do have time and they also want to help, donations. in our community, it is growing so rapidly that the community, the agencies are having a hard time keeping up with the pace of change and growth. So the donations help in a big way in terms of helping to build that capacity. What I mean by that is hiring more staff, expanding programs into other neighborhoods, etc., so that they're accessible to people. So that's huge. And we're kicking off our campaign soon. And I should just say we're wrapping up our campaign, and people can still have the opportunity to donate.
Sure.
So that's one way that they can help. I also think of giving forward as in my opinion, the definition of a leader is someone who is a transformational leader, one who's developing and helping others to become leaders. And I think that's something that we can do every single day and do it consciously.
Yeah.
And so how can we coach and mentor and guide and ask rather than tell all the time.
Absolutely.
And listen as opposed to tell all the time, in terms of helping other individuals, younger individuals, or individuals who want to develop their leadership skills later in life, but being that coach to them and supporting their leadership journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you go to market and work with, hiring competent staff, what are some of the maybe top 3 skills that you look for in a not-for-profit environment?
Well, in terms of soft skills, we're looking for individuals who have strong relationship and collaboration building skills, individuals who can work with others in partnership and leverage those relationships to create synergy. 1 + 1 = 3. That is so important. These issues that we're facing in our community are immense. No one organization or one individual can do it, but by pulling together. So that ability to build relationships and build collaborative partnerships is extremely important. Strong communication skills, extremely important. The ability to listen, as well as the ability to communicate their ideas in clear and compelling ways. And thirdly, there's so many things that we look for, but I would probably say individuals that are results-oriented, individuals who are able to set goals and who are self-directed and able to work towards those goals. I would also, if I were to add a 4th one, problem solvers.
Oh, excellent.
Don't bring us problems, bring us the solutions.
Right.
And have the confidence to bring us solutions. If you see something that needs to be fixed or that we can do better, have the confidence to bring it forward.
I love it. So Shelley, what we really want to know is your recipe for success. What makes you so impactful and keeps you energized?
For me, my recipe for success is actually engaging and listening to others. That I see my role as a leader in the organization as one of being a facilitator. And I think it's absolutely essential to create a culture where everyone feels like they have something to contribute to the success of the organization. So for me, that's my recipe for success.
I love it. And I thank you. And I thank Shelley White, the CEO of United Way for the Peel region, for sharing with us her recipe of success for the month of December, where we're moving forward. Please follow us at www.avantiwomen.com and at #AW Recipe for Success.